Facebook and Instagram might have to pull out from Europe. Why am I being threatened with a good time? This would probably be the only good thing the European Union is doing. I'm kidding, of course. At the end of the day, if Facebook goes, there would be some other replacement, probably worst. But the reason for this is that the European Union is seeking to prevent a data flow from the European Union to the US. They're accusing the US of surveillance practices. In other words, the United States is spying on Europe. Isn't that an interesting conspiracy theory? You know what? This is what you need to do, Facebook. Call the European Union a bunch of far-right conspiracy theorists and shut down the debate. Because this is how you would do it on the internet if people were talking about it, wouldn't you? Like if a couple of individuals say, hey, Facebook is spying on us. Conspiracy theory. Ban. Censor. Zip. Kind of difficult to do it with the European Union. If you guys remember, there was a situation where Obama was spying on Merkel's phone. Like that was, I believe, 2015. It was a big scandal. Big scandal here in Europe. In the United States, not so much. It was easily put to rest, though. It took a couple of weeks. That okay. I mean, they probably did a couple of deals behind the scenes. I mean, so what if the US, our strategic ally, is spying on Angela Merkel, one of the most influential politicians in Europe? It's probably for a good cause, isn't it? If she has nothing to hide. But anyway, right, so this is what I find interesting. Because the European Union is trying to tell Meta to stop spying on its users, Meta has repeatedly warned that such a decision would shatter many of its services in Europe, including Facebook and Instagram. So, in other words, they're admitting that unless they're allowed to harvest information from the users, they're going to shut down the whole website. And the reason for this is that Facebook doesn't really make that much money on ads. Neither does Instagram. What it does make money is on harvesting data from users. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are stalking you personally, but you have various aggregates that they want to see. And then they compile that into a list and they sell it to third parties. So, for example, they could find out how much percentage of their users are Democrats, how many percentage of their users care about abortions, how many percentage of their users like motorcycles, anything can be found out. And there are a lot of companies that are willing to pay for this information. And this is just on the surface. Like, this is what Facebook claims. Is anyone fact-checking them? Like, is anyone verifying that they're not actually selling this information to China? Not really. But again, all of these social media websites that are free, it means that you are the product. Anything that's free means that you are the product. So in other words, they make money off of you. Most of this whole thing, like two-step authentication system, where you have to give your phone number. Initially, it was anyone who wanted extra security could provide their phone number, so it was voluntary. Now Facebook claims that if you have a high enough following, so if you have like 1 million followers on your Facebook account, you have to give their phone number, because otherwise they can't guarantee your security. And the question is like, but what if I don't want to be secure? What if I don't give a shit? Well, then you can't use Facebook. Like, you have to give their phone number. And I'm pretty sure that in the future, I mean, looking at the trend, looking how things are going, everyone will have to give their phone numbers. I mean, so far, there are many websites that ask for this. Again, I don't mind if it's voluntary. Like, if a person wants to give their phone number or not. But I don't like it when it's mandatory. And in Europe, in some countries, it's already mandatory that you can only get an extra phone by showing your ID. So everything is tied. Like, with your phone number, they can find out who you are, where you live. It's the complete destruction of internet anonymity. And of course, at any point, like we saw in Canada with the trucker protest. I mean, these companies, if they want to, they can work hand in hand with the government and just give the data to the government. It's like, oh, there's some people protesting the banks and we don't like them. Give us their information. Or at least give us the information of their leaders so we can shut down their bank accounts. What's to prevent this from happening? What would stop this from happening? I'm legitimately curious. Like, what is the the thing that you would say that the company, well, no, we don't do that. No, that's beyond our morality. So anyway, apparently the draft decision is subject to review by the European Data Protection Authorities. Now, I'll tell you some secret. The European Union doesn't want to shut down Facebook. And this is why Facebook is, Meta is threatening them with the shutting down of the website. Because the European Union already controls Facebook. It's got a lot of people that have infiltrated it, NGOs, activists, journalists, and they are able to control the conversation. They are able to direct how people think about things. For example, during the pandemic, I mean, we seen how effective the control of the conversation can be on the internet. And on top of that, they also rely on Facebook to promote their activism, to promote their nonsense and whatever. So if Facebook wouldn't exist, then all the people would just go to different websites that would probably have to be recontrolled. They would have to invest all of the resources and the finances in order to infiltrate those. I mean, it's really hard, to get all of the mainstream media outlets online to call the website racist until the website goes like, fine, what must we do? Oh, well, have these activists from this NGO to supervise. And I mean, right now, if I'm not mistaken, Facebook has a council, like a Supreme Court, which is handpicked from journalists and influential people. So they can override the decisions of bans. In other words, when Donald Trump got banned, the Supreme Court of Facebook had to say whether or not the ban remains. It's a laughable thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the Supreme Court that Facebook pays is going to investigate Facebook as if it's a third party. Same with the fact checkers. Like, the fact checkers on Facebook are usually, they're considered third party, but often Facebook gives them money. I mean, I'll have to do another video on this, but there is this council of people that get to decide who's a fact checker and not. In other words, like, who's a censor or not on Facebook. And you have to pay them $100, and then they review your application, and then they decide whether or not you pass. But that council, which is supposed to be independent, actually gains money from Facebook. I might see a little bit of a conflict of interest there. I mean, they're receiving grants and money from the company. Imagine me paying for a detective to investigate me. And I will say, well, it's an independent detective. I mean, he's doing an investigation. I'm just happening to pay him, but, like, other than that. It's funny because the masses believe in this stuff. Like, there are people out there who generally, like the Supreme Court of Facebook, independent organization. I mean, I see people in the media, the journalists, an independent body, Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.